Good afternoon, judges, guests, and fellow contestants. My name is Megan Madden. Travel back with me, if you will, about 150 years ago. In 1863, a man was asked to write a speech to dedicate a cemetery to soldiers who had lost their lives while fighting for what they believed in. This man began writing his speech the night before he was scheduled to leave for the ceremony. He worked for hours, writing and rewriting his speech so that it would be perfect for the press. By the time the man had completed his speech, it consisted of only 268 words. Even the author of the speech, who was the president at the time, didn't believe that people would remember what he said. This man was Abraham Lincoln, and the speech he wrote was the Gettysburg Address. November 19, 1863, Lincoln gave his Gettysburg Address. This, my friends, is the exact speech in which Lincoln said, "Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people." I feel that this quote demonstrates exactly what the government was like from its inception in 1787 all the way up to 1863. Of the people suggests that since the leaders of democracy are citizens, by this I mean that congressmen and other leaders of democracy do not have to be in a specific bloodline to be a part of the government. The by the people part comes from the fact that government officials are elected by the people. Back then, I believe that people were elected based on what their reputation and morals were. More on this later. The for the people section means that the government is solely for helping the people. For instance, the government provides research for laws and defense. Currently, there are some similarities and differences in the government. That being said, the of the people part is still true because candidates are still required to be citizens of the United States. The by the people is a little different because it doesn't seem to be all about morals and reputation. It appears to be on what is promised and financial motivation. For the people has grown to not only serving the United States, it has developed to helping the world. For example, when natural disasters like earthquakes, tsunamis, and various other disasters happen across the world, we have proven to be for the people and lend a helping hand. So let me ask you, what does the future hold? Do you think this quote from the Gettysburg Address will stand true in 10, 20, or even 50 years? I would like to leave you with this thought. Will this idea of a government of the people, by the people, for the people evolve from the United States to the world? Thank you for joining us and have a wonderful afternoon.
Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. There was a man who spoke the Gettysburg Address in Pennsylvania. He was elected in 1861 and led us through the brutal Civil War. Yes, that man was Abraham Lincoln. Welcome, judges, fellow contestants, friends, and family. My name is Abbas Ba, and I'm a 7th grader at Peoria Elementary. Abraham Lincoln once said in the Gettysburg Address, "Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people." What does democracy mean to all of you? Lincoln envisioned democracy as a type of government where nobody was outshined by one another. Lincoln wanted to make our country strong, so he led us through the Civil War in 1861 for a strong slave-free country full of democracy. Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people, was said by President Lincoln. Lincoln was unique in his way of thinking, and many people could not relate. His thoughts and ideas were admired by many in his time. He had many supporters but enemies as well, such as the vile John Wilkes Booth, who assassinated Lincoln April 14, 1865, in Ford's Theater. Think of the people like John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King, who strive to make a difference in our nation for the better. We as Americans should follow in their footsteps. When Abraham Lincoln stood up for slavery against the South, or when John F. Kennedy fought against the Cold War, they didn't back down. Martin Luther King didn't stop even when threatened his life in his fight for equality. These should be heroes that we model. If they can do it, so can we. We should never give up. Abraham Lincoln was a true patriot. He fought to make our country united. Because of his leadership, we are now the democracy that we see today. Many countries, in the Middle East, for example, are still fighting for democracy. The protesters took a stand for what they believe in. They want the rights that we have today. Although Lincoln is gone, his words are influencing people all over the world. Lincoln influenced patriots to take a stand for what they believe in. Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people, represents unity, strength, and understanding. Lincoln said these words because a government should not be run by a power-crazy tyrant like Hitler, who has no desire to help the people. Lincoln's words changed the lives of many, including mine. He gave us all a chance to speak our minds and be individuals in this unified nation. He let us be free. If Abraham Lincoln had never said those words, maybe our nation would be different. Who would have thought that some intelligent man in a black suit and a top hat could play such an important role in our history? So next time you wonder what democracy is, think of Abraham Lincoln's famous words: democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. Thank you.
Imagine living in a country that has no justice, no concern about you or me. Mayhem runs rampant through the streets. People are being killed day and night, and yet no one does anything about it. Ladies and gentlemen, judges, staff, peers, fellow Americans, and true patriots. True patriotism hates injustice in its own land more than anywhere else, said Clarence Darrow. No one in their right mind enjoys letting someone be hurt. No one should take pleasure in hurting someone else. And yet we look at today's society and we see hate, crime, injustice, and false accusers. Yet few true American patriots stand and find pleasure in stopping people from doing wrong. What do you think of when you hear the United States of America? Do you think bullies, murderers, or drugs? No. You think the land of opportunity. And when you wake up every morning, aren't you proud to be an American, where at least you know you're free? But people, injustice is happening right under our noses. American citizens are poverty-stricken, homeless, in a rich country. Some children even go to bed hungry. Ladies and gentlemen, how can this be? It's injustice. The quote says, true patriotism hates injustice. Here, in our own country. We need to be patriots and worry about what's happening here for once, thinking, does America put an end to injustice here in America? We need to be patriots and worry about what's happening here. All right. Because we love America. I love being free. I love waking up and feeling free. Being a patriot, I am loyal to this country. I will die for this country because I don't want this country to perish in the raging sea of injustice. Because true patriotism hates injustice here in its own land. Let me ask you something. Do you love America? Do you wish that our children be raised in a society where people get away with things that are not right? Patriots don't. Our society is getting worse. But will you stand when injustice overpowers the weak? Patriots will. Patriots have a love for their country, just like I love breathing. So let me ask you, will you stand? I hope so. God bless the USA. God bless America. Thank you.
Do you consider yourself a patriot? Do you vote and support your troops? Do you even celebrate the 4th of July? Without patriotism, our country would not function. Patriotism is not short, frenzied outbursts of emotion, but the tranquil and steady dedication of a lifetime. Good morning, parents, fellow contestants, and judges. We all love America, but do we show it all the time? I am here to tell you that patriotism takes compassion, determination, and strength. Without compassion, do you think our presidents would be able to change the country? Abraham Lincoln, he tried and succeeded in abolishing slavery. He didn't care if he was the only white man standing alone against many others. In order to be in the Army, you need to go through various tests and training. Without these tests and training, we'd be going into war uneducated. Then how would we fight our battles? They go through long, complex training for what? Because they love America. Without compassion, do you think nurses would be able to complete their jobs? I hardly doubt it. They do what they do because they love caring for the people. Patriotism is not only caring about your country, but caring for the people in it. Patriotism also takes time and determination. Do you think Barack Obama just woke up and suddenly decided, hey, I'm going to be president today? No. It took him many obstacles to get where he is now. Do you even think Harriet Tubman thought of the Underground Railroad overnight? It took her time and patience. That construction worker up there, building the roof, he's sweating up there because he's determined to get the house done. If it takes determination to do your homework at night, can you imagine running a country? This type of determination is shown throughout a patriot's life. People get made fun of every day because, who knows? Don't you think that their age, ethnicity, or even the decisions they make is the reason why they're getting made fun of? Hillary Clinton, when she ran for president, people were being sexist because they didn't think she could do the job of a president. She's clearly not a male, but just because she isn't doesn't mean she's not suited for the job. Martin Luther King Jr. People didn't think he was going to be able to make his speech, but he did. Or even when boys think girls can't play football, if we wanted to, we could be strong and tough. Just because some people have longer hair than others, or maybe different skin colors, doesn't mean we can't do the same things or change things the same way. So you see, if we'd all show compassion, determination, and strength, we'd be true patriots. Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Harriet Tubman, and Martin Luther King Jr. all showed patriotism their whole life. Do you think you could change something or even show patriotism your whole life? I do, because I'm starting right now with this speech. Patriotism is not short, frenzied outbursts of emotion, but the tranquil and steady dedication of a lifetime. Thank you.
Welcome, judges, contestants, and audience. Thank you for attending. Have you heard of Star Wars, the Jetstones, or Star Trek? If you have, and you think it's no less than 50 years away, well, you're far from right. In fact, it could happen in the next year. If you're thinking, how? It's not easy, but we can make it happen. All we have to do is two things. One, work hard, and two, believe. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." The future can be ours if we work hard, don't be lazy, and most importantly, believe. Futuristic things like floating cars, flying vehicles, houses underwater, and more of our fantasized dreams and hopes that we read in movies or read in books and see in movies. All are possible if we believe in the power of our dreams. Science can not only be our future, but it can be our escape. It won't come easy, it won't come overnight, but it will, if we combine working hard with our dreams. These science fiction stories all we have to do is believe. they can come true and be our reality. Our high-tech future can be close or far. Are we willing to work for it? As a country, we have millions, possibly billions of dollars in debt. Our future can be debt-free if we work hard and believe. The quote that Eleanor Roosevelt said basically means that if we believe, we can succeed. For an example, I wanted to be on a high school lacrosse team, and I worked hard, and now I am on a high school JV lacrosse team, even though I'm in 7th grade. We believe, as a country, to win and come back after every war, and we succeeded at that. If we are lazy and don't believe, we will fail like the U.S. men's soccer team failed to qualify for this year's Olympics. They didn't believe enough and work hard enough. If we believe and work hard enough, if we believe and work hard as much as we can, how much can we succeed? A lot of people doubt that we can't do it. Believing is succeeding. Succeeding is believing. If we do those two things, who knows how far we can go as a country, as a world, and what an individual can do. What if our dream is to fly? What if our dream is to breathe underwater? If we stop dreaming and believing, they will go nowhere. Everything is possible if we believe. The future that we think and dream of, things that will come to us, they won't come easy. If we don't believe, imagine the future nothing like we dream of. Nothing can stop us. If we believe now, remember to succeed. If you believe and work hard to make your dreams come true, thank you for your time and support. Now let's go out and make this world a better place.
The definition of patriotism is the love and devotion to one's country. But that is the dictionary's definition. My definition is people working together to fight for our country. People think patriotism is the United States flag, the colors red, white, and blue, and the 4th of July. But in reality, patriotism is so much more than that. Teamwork is the key. In 1997, my father joined the Army. My father is a hero. He is a medic in the Army, along with many other brave people. He saved people's lives. During the war with Iraq, he went overseas for 1 year. The military requires a lot of teamwork. Being only 3 years old, I still sent letters, I called him, and I sent him care packages. Supporting my dad was important. Why? Because I wanted to remind him how fantastic he was. During the Vietnam War, my grandfather was drafted in high school to fight for his country. Unlike my dad, who chose to serve, my grandfather had to. To this day, he still talks about it. Going to war impacted him so much. Even though it wasn't his choice, the life lessons will stick with him forever. Helen Keller once said, "Alone, we can do so little, but together, we can do so much." People in history work together, and people now work together. Teamwork has played an important role throughout our history. Teamwork built our nation and earned us our freedom. My dad is an example of a person who works together with other people. I am a member of the International Order of the Rainbow for Girls, and it is an organization for girls to give back to their communities. Girls work together in various service projects. We give lectures during our meetings, and one of them is patriotism, and it reflects what we do together to help our communities. During the summer, I was in a volunteer group called YVC. I signed up for different projects each week. One week, we put on a prom for the people at the nursing home, and we decorated it like a Hawaiian theme, and we had lace for everyone. We also had a photo shoot to show girls that we are perfect the way we are. Throughout each and every project, we all worked together and got more done, as Helen Keller said. One person who wants to make a difference can. If you want to make a difference, you have to actually want to do it. You'll have to speak up and speak out and spread the word about it. Get people's attention. Talk about it. Tell your friends to tell their friends. Do whatever you can. Show your love. Use teamwork. Show your appreciation to soldiers and veterans who risked their lives to save us. Write letters to them. Volunteer. Join organizations. And think about joining the military. Patriotism is different from the dictionary's definition. Teamwork is always the answer. Helen Keller's disabilities required a lot of teamwork to live a somewhat normal life. Speak up, speak out, and get involved. Be a part of a team. Appreciate what you learn from the other people around you. Thank you.
Hello, parents and guests. My name is Christy Augustine, and I'm an 8th grader. Patriotism is not short, frenzied outburst of emotion, but the tranquil and steady dedication of a lifetime. That's a meaningful quote. That quote's by Atlas Stevenson. Atlas Stevenson was a politician and a diplomat. He was a Democratic candidate for the United States. His quote is patriotic because it's stating one's national loyalty is forever long, and they have exciting outbursts, a peaceful dedication for life. That means that person has a strong love for their country. In other words, that patriot will defend and protect this country with his life. This quote affects America because it's basically saying that a patriot is not short. So that means it has a continuing cycle of patriotic people. Those people are going to be excited to defend America. Comparing that quote to our present day is hard. In my opinion, we don't have a lot of patriotic people. To explain, you hear a lot of people talking about what can we do to help the USA, but that's all you hear. You hear it. You see people talking about it. You need to see action, what people are doing to help America. Helping America is going out helping people get on their feet, being friendly, being loyal to your country, talking about it to others, explaining to others, and telling them what you can do to help. Patriotic people is loving America because America is the people of the people. We need to be patriotic and help each other because we are all one. If people stand by this quote today and follow it, our future will be different. To clarify, our future will have more patriotic people in it. We will have people standing up for America. We will have people making America a better place. We will have people fighting for America. We will have patriotic people. Close your eyes and imagine America filled with patriotic people. What do you see? Do you see America a better place? Do you see citizens defending America? Do you see citizens getting jobs? Do you see America becoming all one people? I do. I see America becoming all one people, a better place. If people become productive and get involved, we will improve. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. That quote is by Helen Keller. Just for example, if people help each other, we can have a bigger impact. Let me rephrase that. The more patriotism, the better impact. So people should stand up, put your heads up high, and have courage to be a patriot. Again, my name is Christy Augustine, and thank you for listening to me.
"11 seconds. You've got 10 seconds. The countdown's going on right now. Moral up to Silk, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. Great moments are born from great opportunities. Herb Brooks, the coach, began speaking to his 1980 Olympic-winning hockey team as they made their way into the arena. The fans in the arena were all on their feet, each and every one joining in the chorus of God Bless America. To the USA, it was a symbol of hope, and it was a symbol of faith. It showed the patriotism we have as a country. It was the eye-opening moment we each needed. Take a moment to close your eyes. Take a moment to think. Take a moment to imagine. Picture yourself pursuing your dream. You're doing what you want to do because you love it, not because you have to. Because we live in America, we're given the opportunity to take hold of that dream and run with it, turning it from just a simple dream to a reality. Good afternoon, judges, parents, teachers, staff, and fellow contestants. My name is Sydney Jenner, and this is my speech entitled Great Moments. I can personally say I'm proud to be an American because some of the great accomplishments we've had as a country. For example, women earning the right to vote in 1920. As a lady, I couldn't be more thankful for that right becoming a reality, and I'm sure some of you can agree with me. The women went out and fought together to gain that right, and I know because they did this, I can go vote in the 2016 election. Then, think about the Cold War. We spent 46 years of political and military tension against the Soviet Union. After 46 years, any other country would have backed down and given up, but not the United States. We stood tall and proud until the Berlin Wall fell down, symbolizing the breakup of the Soviet Union and the United States' victory. In this time, we also saw Neil Armstrong to be the first man to walk on the moon, an amazing moment that showed the U.S.'s technological advances. Thinking beyond the steps we've taken together as a country, I look at my life and the things I've been able to do in my past 14 years of life. I haven't been able to save the world or anything of that manner, but I have been able to live out my dream of taking part in theater and going to school each and every day to get an education. It's the simple opportunities like these that set me up for success. What do you want to do? What can you do? Maybe not for the country as a whole, but maybe for just one person. If you can rise up and seize an opportunity, you're just as important as George Washington or Abraham Lincoln. You may not think it now, but when that one person looks back on that one small act of kindness, you'd be surprised how grateful they really are. Step up. Do something good. We're the pioneers of our generation. We're forging our own paths, improvised as they may be. Take a moment and turn it into something great. 11 seconds. You've got 10 seconds. The countdown's going on right now. Moro up to silk. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. Great moments are born from great opportunities. Herb Brooks began speaking to his team. If you think about it, we as Americans are just like that 1980 Olympic winning hockey team. We take on new tasks and challenges each and every day that some might think are impossible. Take a moment to make that slap shot and earn a game-winning goal. Pause for a few seconds to think before making a move that could cost you an entire game. Realize that each of our greatest moments in history all come from the opportunities presented. Take that and skate on. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, parents, contestants, and judges. Loyalty, dedication, commitment, and devotion, all synonyms of one another. And these are the traits that you need to be a patriot. Being a patriot means to express the ideas of your country through yourself. I'm sure that before we all wrote our speeches, we looked up the true definition of patriotism at least once, right? I'm also sure we found sort of the same definition: love of your country, devotion to your country, etc. Well, those are all true. But what is really important is how you show that you love your country and how you are dedicated to it. As Adlai Stevenson once said, patriotism is not short, frenzied outbursts of emotion, but the tranquil and steady dedication of a lifetime.
I think that this quote strongly represents the life of a soldier. Dedicating your life to your country is not an easy task. It's a serious and difficult decision. Going into the military, you know this. You know how scary and risky it is to devote your life to the protection of your country. But there's a fire burning inside of you, and it knows that this is what you were meant for. It glows so bright with pride and patriotism, and that's when you know it's the right decision. Patriotism is in the heart of the soldier who takes the bullet from the front line. Love is why they do it. They feel it's worth the pain. It's why they fall down and get back up again. On both my mom's and dad's side of the family, there have been many people that have been in the military and fought in wars as far back as World War II, then to the Vietnam War and the war in Iraq. They knew what they wanted to do, and they did it. They honored their country by serving by its side and protecting it. To America, this quote says that subtle, everyday patriotism means just as much as patriotism that makes headlines. Saying that you're going to do this or that for your country is not the same as actually going through with it. Displaying your dedication to your country can be as simple as supporting your troops, joining the military, voting for the benefit of your country, or speaking your mind. Because in our country, we have an obligation to say how we feel. We have freedom of speech. That freedom of speech benefits our country in quite a few ways. Without freedom of speech, we have no public speeches or elections, parades, protests, newspapers, books, magazines, or anything. It may not seem like a lot now, but just imagine living without it for a day. It's not easy to not say how you feel. It's horrible and you would hate it. I express myself through words for the benefit of my country. I'm doing it as I speak. You and I owe it to everyone who fought for that freedom. We're honoring them in a way. Patriotism. It isn't just a word. It isn't just saying the Pledge of Allegiance. And it isn't just being an American. It's more than that. It's proving your love for your country. Patriotism is honoring your country and doing right by it while helping to improve it at the same time. It's more than just loving your country, though. It's showing you love it. Actions speak more than words ever will. Words mean a lot, but most people don't remember every word said. They remember the actions that continue to be the foundation of a nation. In the words of Adlai Stevenson, patriotism is not short, frenzied outbursts of emotion, but the tranquil and steady dedication of a lifetime. Thank you.
Welcome and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Now today, I'm going to talk about a man whose courage and ideology has inspired many before me. But before I talk about this man, I want you all to ask yourselves this. Do you want to be successful when you grow up? Do you want to achieve your dreams? Do you? Liberty without learning is always in peril. Learning without liberty is always in vain. These are the words of John F. Kennedy, one of the greatest presidents this nation has ever known. He believed that he can mend our country from decades of racial injustice, and he did a magnificent job of it. Now, the meaning of this quote tells us that whether you are fighting to gain the freedom that you deserve or striving to follow your dreams, if you do not stop for a minute and learn from your mistakes or learn about the obstacles that may lie ahead of you, you are bound to trip over a hurdle along the way. In correlation, when you learn with boundaries or without freedom, you are limiting yourself. When you limit something so important in your life, such as knowledge, that can carry you through the future, when you limit your knowledge, the only person that you limit your future is yourself. Now, the words of Kennedy speak true to me, because I strive to be the best in everything that I do in life. But in order for me to be successful, I need to work hard and with meaning, not by taking useless shortcuts to make my life easier. Because life is not easy, I'll tell you that, especially when it comes to getting an education. Now, Kennedy was a firm believer in education to all men and women, no matter the color of their skin or the home that they were raised in. Even though our education system is not perfect, we are one of the few countries to allow so many people to be a part of it. Now, freedom. Freedom is the foundation of our education. Freedom is the foundation of our country. And Kennedy believed in that freedom. 1962, the height of the Cold War. It was a very scary time to live. Russia began transporting nuclear missiles into Cuba. Our world, as we knew it, was on the brink of nuclear annihilation. All it took was the push of a single button. At the height of this crisis, Kennedy was playing a metaphorical game of Russian roulette with Khrushchev, the Russian president, in order to get the missiles out of Cuba. Kennedy had the courage and the guts to make such a drastic move like this. And because of his actions, we are all still alive today. Kennedy was the gatekeeper to the free world, and in mankind's darkest hour, he still preserved that freedom that he promised he would. Now, freedom is the foundation of this great country, and we will continue to live by this rule that our forefathers established for many decades to come. But to uphold this grand freedom, we must forgive ourselves and others, whether personally or as an entire country, because we can all obtain success. We just need to choose the right path. Thank you.
The definition of united is joined together, politically for a common purpose or by common feeling. What would we be if we were not the United States of America? As stated by Helen Keller, alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. Judges, parents, and my fellow contestants, my name is Cassidy Stratton. I'm here today to celebrate with you America's accomplishments, actions of pride, and true patriotism. In a world where there is always room for improvement, the United States of America will never stop working together. For instance, 9/11 was a dreadful day that will never be forgotten. Americans were consumed in fear, overwhelmed with disbelief, and infuriated. Living here in the land of the free and the home of the brave, we came together as one nation to serve, defend, and reconstruct not only our physical environment, but uplift our spirits with unending pride and patriotism. The event of 9/11 is only one example of America's accomplishments, actions of pride, and true patriotism. Another example of the United States struggling within itself is between 1929 and 1933, more commonly known as the Great Depression. Imagine, you can't provide for your own family. The basic necessities are unavailable, and the money that is desired so much is worth more, burning in your fireplace. But once again, being the stubborn and determined Americans we are, we made a difference in the Great Depression with the Civilian Conservation Corps, which focused on unemployment, the Civil Works Administration, and Homeowners Loan Corporation. With banks recalling loans, the Federal Housing Administration oversaw housing conditions and mortgages, helping along with the National Recovery Act, Public Works Administration, Social Security Act, the Works Progress Administration, and focusing on funds for education and food and drug safety, the Federal Security Agency. Together, we rose above despair and overcame poverty throughout all 48 states. There are 195 countries today, and yet the United States are like no other. We are determined, strong, loyal, innovative, inspired, inspiring, and free. We are determined, never saying we can't. We are strong, living through everyday challenges. We are loyal, risking our lives for our families, strangers, and our country. We are innovative, advancing in greater technologies in entertainment, communication, and medicine. We are inspired to build the tallest of skyscrapers and inspiring to other countries to live as we do. We are free, free to be whoever we want to be. As said before by Helen Keller, alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. That is why everyone is accepted in the United States of America and will not be persecuted regardless of their political views, creed, or race. Thank you.
Good day to you, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Americans, brothers and sisters of liberty. My name is Mark Alexander Weinmiller, and I'm here today to talk about what makes America, America. A man named Daniel Webster once said, "Liberty and union, now and forever, one and inseparable." What Mr. Webster meant is that no matter what disaster, no matter what peril this country and its people go through, we shall have integrity, dignity, heart, and good old-fashioned American patriotism. Because having morals in immoral time is how and when true character is judged. The man who proclaimed this, Daniel Webster, a congressman in the 1850s, said this in a time where there was an immeasurable amount between the northern part of the United States and the southern part of the United States, as the South wanted to secede from the Union. But Daniel Webster didn't believe in that. He believed that a united America was a stronger America. And as a congressman, I'm sure his words were not taken lightly. And that's what a patriot is. A person who loves his country so much, he only wants the best for it. And I chose this man's quote as it represents the unity and patriotism that this country is capable of. As I have said before, the American spirit is of integrity, dignity, and heart. Integrity is what you do when no one is looking. Integrity is having the ability to differ from right and wrong. Integrity is what keeps America in check, as is the very foundation of America itself. Integrity is shown in our acts, such as when we aid countries fighting for their independence, because we've been through that before, such as in the War for Independence in the late 1700s that our very forefathers fought in. Not only draws patriotism from within our own borders, but from other countries towards our beautiful American flag as well. Then there's dignity. Dignity is doing the right thing. It's doing the right thing, even if it is the more arduous path. And it's staying on that arduous path, even with others staring you down. It's like when we aid countries filled with starving people, such as in Somalia. It only draws more patriotism towards our beautiful flag. And last but definitely not least, there's heart. Having some heart is having the will to push on with doubt and uncertainty in the air. It's reaching goals we never even thought possible as a people. It's just like when we sent a man to the moon in 1969. It was one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. These aforementioned characteristics of integrity, dignity, and heart is what has brought America from the ground up to the economical powerhouse it is today. Imagine how proud our country's forefathers would be if they were able to see this day. Now, the aforementioned characteristics of integrity, dignity, and heart alone do not make America the best, but they make America the best it can be. It's one of the reasons we're the land of the free and the home of the brave. My name is Mark Alexander Weinmiller. Thank you for your time.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We say this pledge every day. However, do we really understand what it means? I, for one, didn't, but now I do. On my journey to find the true meaning of justice for all, I discovered a world of extreme loyalty and the determination to fight for your country, even if it means you die trying. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tori Marbois, and I'm here to talk to you about patriotism. Francis Bellamy, the creator of the pledge, was a Baptist minister who, through the pledge, expressed his own views and the views of his cousin, Edward Bellamy. Through Francis's sermons and Edward's novels, these two family members captured a perfect vision of what it means to be an American. Let's break apart this pledge bit by bit and show you what you are really saying. First of all, did you know that when you say, "I pledge allegiance," you are saying that you are utterly loyal under all circumstances? Are you really that loyal? Next time you say those words, think about them. Decide if you would actually give everything for your country. Let me talk to you about our grand old flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Why the flag? I mean, why not the President or the Constitution of America? People, the flag has been our symbol of hope for centuries. For instance, on September 13th, 1814, the British bombed Fort McHenry. Through all the chaos of the battle, the flag of the United States of America still stood tall. Our flag will always be our symbol of hope through despair and disaster. This part of the pledge addresses the Republic. This Republic is not just our nation or our culture, it is our people. We are patriots together. This leads into the next line of the pledge, one nation under God. Now, this is not just an oath, but a prayer. Religion is a very big part of America, and it makes sense that it is included in this pledge. Indivisible. The definition of indivisible is not divisible, and able to be divided or separated. This same nation fought to prove this point in 1865 in the 4-year-long Civil War. This was one of the worst points in American history, but it proves that our unity is worth dying for. To date, the Civil War still remains the war that has taken the greatest toll on our country. We have come to the last part of the pledge, with liberty and justice for all. With the promise of liberty and justice comes equality. Women did not get the right to vote until 1920 with the 19th Amendment, and it wasn't until the 60s that discrimination against African Americans began to clear up. Liberty is a privilege, but also a right, and the same goes for justice. Everyone deserves it. Americans show patriotism when we welcome any race, color, or gender into our arms. Francis Bellamy was a man of passion and conviction who created a piece of writing that summed up the true meaning of patriotism. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can you still truthfully say these words? The real people who have matched this code and gone above it are out there fighting for us right now. Those soldiers are the true symbol of hope when they are willing to die for this country, this law, and this pledge. And maybe we should all be brave like that too. Thank you.